Go ahead and record. Okay, so food for.
There we go.
All right, thanks for being on with me, guys. And this is going to be really short, so bear with me. Okay, so how does food fuel our organs? Well, there are different ways of fueling our organs, and that's through micronutrients and macronutrients. Hold on, let me mute all. There we go. Okay, so there's two ways. There's through macronutrients and there's micronutrients. So what are macronutrients? Macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids. And micronutrients include minerals and vitamins. Okay, so we want to try to get all of that into our daily diet. Now, a lot of people struggle with just figuring out what those foods look like and how to incorporate them into our recipes for whatever we're eating all day long, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Okay, so I actually did some research a while back on basically what foods to eat. I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to be looking for what kind of macronutrients and micronutrients are involved in all different kinds of fruits and vegetables. I just want to be told what to eat. So taking the guesswork out of that. So what I did was I researched plant-based diets. I researched the keto diet. I researched higher protein diets, and I just kind of compared them. And in my search, I found a bajillion different other diets, really weird diets that I found too. But they all seem to agree that fruits and vegetables are key, okay? So they are the highest or the most dense in nutrition, micronutrients and macronutrients can be. So what I decided to do was I wanted to find out which vegetables and fruits I needed to eat on a daily basis. So I found this app, and it's kind of dark, so I don't know if you can see it here, but I'm going to add the name of it to, let's see, maybe I can add it in the chat here. It's called the Daily Dozen, and it was formulated by a researcher. His name is Dr. Greger. And actually, Kim Coates, I don't know if you have it on hand, but you have the book that he wrote. It's called How Not to Die. So he'll tell you how not to die from heart disease. Yes, that's it, that's it, that's it. How Not to Die. Clever title. So, how not to die from liver disease, how not to die from heart disease, how not to die from lung disease, how not to die from all the diseases, okay? And in his research, what he did was something that isn't or hasn't really been done in health research, which is a lot of longitudinal studies. So he looked at the China study, which was a longitudinal study that compared inhabitants of certain regions of China that were consuming plant-based diets compared to other regions of China that were consuming both plant-based and animal product diets. And what he found that was over a long extended period of time, the results found that the inhabitants which were eating mostly plant-based diets, which ironically enough were the poorer regions of the country or of the area. Um, and he compared it to the individuals that ate animal products, and there was a higher incident of disease in those that consumed animal products. So he delved into that and did more research to find out why and find out what could be causing the discrepancy between that. So he developed this app, and this app basically tells you which fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts, seeds you can be consuming as a human. And what he does is, for the human, he tells us how much that is. So what that looks like for human consumption. Now, I'm a rather small person, so what I would be eating wouldn't be necessarily what my fiance would be eating, because he weighs 250 pounds. So we have to kind of calculate that on our own, but it's a great jumping off point. And I'm just going to read off the different categories that he noted. So first we have beans, and there have been a lot of studies actually that I that found that bean consumption can lead to life longevity. So they looked at different countries around the world to determine that. And then we also have the category of berries. So Dr. Greger talks a lot about how berries are really great antioxidants. So they slow down the aging of the cells to help us, help our organs digest our food, help our skin, continue to have elasticity. It comes from so many different angles, that the antioxidants can benefit the body. The next category he has is other fruits, and so that would be just any other fruits that are not considered a berry. He also has cruciferous vegetables listed, as well as greens. And an interesting thing that I found about greens is that he doesn't have a lot of servings listed for greens. He has 2 servings listed for greens, whereas with beans, he has 3. So I always think salads, right? We always say salads are the way to go. Just load up on dark green vegetables. But the truth is, you don't really need that much. The most important thing is that you're consistent with it. So continuously eating greens every single day is what would benefit you more than overdoing the greens, which, there you can always have too much of anything. He also lists other vegetables, so that would be anything besides the dark greens. You can, let's see, he has a lot of examples in his app here. So some types are artichokes, asparagus, beets, bell peppers, carrots, corn, garlic, mushrooms, okra, onions. And some of these I find a little interesting that they're in these categories, but he has a reason behind why he places them in these categories. The next is flax seeds. So flax seeds have a lot of omega-3s, and he really encourages that flax seeds be consumed on a daily basis. The next category he lists is nuts. Let's see. Then we have spices, and whole grains has 3 servings. So you want to make sure that you're getting your whole grains every single day, and more so than your greens, you want to kind of amp up the amount that you're consuming there. He lists beverages as a category, but what he mainly means is water. You can add tea to that, but he's very pro water consumption. So the water just kind of helps everything else get transported through your bloodstream, and it also helps to clear out the toxins that you don't want to have in your bloodstream. So keeps the nutrients coming in and helps the toxins come out. He also lists on here vitamin B12 because he does encourage a non-animal product diet. So in that diet, you don't really consume B12 because B12 is created by a bacteria in the soil. And when we don't eat straight from the soil, we're not consuming that bacteria. So it's recommended to take that as a supplement. However, he does encourage a plant-based diet, and so do a lot of up-and-coming researchers. However, he doesn't just completely X out animal products. So he says that if you were, and not only Dr. Greger, but other researchers that are looking at this topic are saying that if you do consume animal products, be sure to consume organic, because you don't want to have the additional pesticides and chemicals that are used in the raising and the processing of the animals. When what we're really trying to do is to just get all of the good nutrients and benefits from the food into our body. You don't want to counteract that by eating tainted food, I guess I would say. And also, if you're going to consume animal products, such as the meat of the animal, you want to make sure that the animal itself is pasture raised. So if you have seen like videos of what factory farming looks like these days, it's not pretty. And I don't consume this way because of moral reasons, more so. It's more for health benefits, but at the same time, I do understand that it's not pretty what's going on factory farming. So you want to keep that in mind. What they're saying is that research has found that animals that are kept in small enclosures and aren't allowed to roam free kind of build up these toxins inside of their body because they're in more stressful situations. So that then gets along or passed along to the consumer, and we eat that, and we don't want to be consuming that frequently. There's also, he also talks about, let's see, organic, pasture raised, and, and pasture raised meaning they get to go out into the fields to consume the natural growing grass instead of being fed genetically modified corn or soy products that aren't in a natural diet for, let's say, a cow or a pig. So if you are going to consume animal products, then just kind of keep that in mind, because I know it is hard, especially with the American diet, to X out all animal products. If you can, I commend you. Let's see. The next thing I was going to talk about was water. So fueling our body with what we're consuming means to help our bodies transport the nutrients that we're trying to get. And what I talked about earlier regarding water and Dr. Greger's really high emphasis on consumption, I went into researching water. So there you go, Cloud, drink up that water. So what I found maybe like 2 or 3 years ago through my research was that the gut has a certain pH level. So our job when we're consuming food is to help that pH level stay regulated. So if if your gut pH level is too acidic, then it could cause disease. If it is in the opposite direction, then it could cause disease as well. So we want to stay at a balanced pH, which is around, different people have different opinions on this, but the consensus appears to be between 8 and 10. So water that is alkaline can help you regulate the pH of your gut. What I like to do is first thing in the morning, I like to consume about 24 ounces of alkaline water with lemon, fresh squeezed lemon. And what that does is that'll start to activate the gut and prepare it for digestion later on when you're ready to eat. So if you can, try to get alkaline water. I know that at my water store, it doesn't cost a whole lot more. And if you have delivery, I guess they're catching on and they're deciding that they want to start selling alkaline water pretty much everywhere. Let's see. The next thing I wanted to talk about was fasting. So we know what we need to eat: fruits and vegetables, grains, nuts, seeds, organic animal products that are, raised ethically. But one thing that doesn't get discussed a lot is fasting. So I researched intermittent fasting, and I found that in order to bump up to the next level of absorption of those nutrients is intermittent fasting. And the model that I found that seems to be the most beneficial, which people may have different opinions on this, but just through my research, I found that 16-8 is a pretty beneficial time for intermittent fasting. So 16 hours of no food, and then 8 hours of pretty regular, consistent consumption. And what that does is that allows the body, after you're finished with your 8 hours of food consumption, it allows the body to properly digest instead of being kind of forced to digest because there's other food coming along through that is pushing everything out. So, and then it also allows the body to heal and regenerate. So if you notice, I don't know if anybody's seen the documentary Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, but he talks about how if you are a kid and you skin your knee, what does your mom tell you? She says, don't touch it, leave it alone. If you pick at the scab, what happens? It just kind of prolongs the healing process. So what the intermittent fasting does is it provides that opportunity for your body to heal, regenerate, and prepare itself for something that might come along in the future, which could, just be eating or eating again, another meal. And let's see, the last thing that I found was on fueling the body was when to stop. So we have programs in Beachbody. To Be Mindset is a great one. The 21-day fix portion control containers that tell us, when we should be stopping our food consumption. So I looked into that a little bit more, and I found that the general consensus of longitudinal studies found that most people that stop eating when they're 80% full benefit the most from their consumption of what, you know, their meals. If you overeat, then if you eat until you're super full and you are not really mindful of what's going in your body, then there creates like a disconnect. But if you know what you're eating, you know how much you're supposed to be eating, you have a communication with your body, and you are basically directing your body how much you are supposed to be eating, the optimal amount for your weight and your height, then you create more of a balance within your body. And you also get the benefit of having that control that we are always looking for, right? Always trying to control the wrong things. But this is the right thing to control. And it's something that benefits us for survival. So I feel like it's really important. Let's see, anything else I missed? If you have trouble with consistency, accountability, we have the groups that can help you meal plan and schedule and prepare. And we have resources that can help you do that. So just reach out to your coach or whoever invited you to watch this, and we can help you with that, because now you know what to do, you know what the body needs. Now it's just a matter of putting that into action and being consistent. And let's see, I wanted to mention something that inspired me. So I was looking through some motivational like memes, and I found something that said that if you do something for 365 days, then you've passed that 21-day habit reaching time limit. You've passed that 90-day time limit where you apparently can create a habit. You've passed that 180-day timeline that can create a habit, and you've actually made it an entire year with the same behavior. And I feel like that kind of put an impression on me, and it made me feel like 1 year is not that long. And if I could create a habit doing something consistently every day for 1 year, then I feel like I've won. And I feel like there's no going back, because I've tried the 21-day thing to try to create a habit, and I just somehow go back. So a year seems to be the key for me, but you might disagree. And Melody actually inspired me because she drank her Shakeology for 365 days, and she was able to join the 365-day club, and she hasn't looked back. So just an example of another way that you could help motivate yourself to stay consistent and create good habits. Sorry, this was a little bit longer than I thought, but I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad to see you guys all here, and I hope you at least learned one thing. Thanks, guys.